My neighbor keeps waving at me from his window. The problem is, he died 3 weeks ago. I live on the fourth floor of an old brick building directly across from another just like it. For 3 years, my evenings had the same quiet ritual. At 7:13 p.m., Mr. Keller would appear in his window, mug in hand, and give me a small, polite wave. I never really knew him, but that small gesture became the reset button for my day. 3 weeks ago, I watched them carry his body out under a white sheet. They said it was his heart. I went to the funeral out of a strange sense of obligation. There were only a handful of people there. I kept thinking how, if he could, he'd probably still show up in that window at 7:13, waving as if nothing had changed. The first night I saw him again, I was halfway through washing dishes. I glanced up out of habit. Same apartment? Same window. Same figure, framed by the yellowed curtains. He lifted his hand and waved. I dropped the plate. It shattered in the sink. When I looked again, the window was dark. I told myself it had been a reflection, a shadow, anything but what it looked like. Sleep didn't come easily. The next night, 7:13 on the dot, I stood at my own window and waited. The room across from me was dim, but not fully dark. The shape appeared slowly, like it was stepping out of thicker darkness. The posture, the height, even the angle of his head. It was all Mr. Keller. He waved. Slower this time. Deliberate. I grabbed my phone and hit record, hands shaking. I filmed until the light in his apartment went out and the figure disappeared. When I replayed the video, my stomach turned. The recording showed my building, my window reflection, the opposite brick, but every one of those windows was completely dark. No light. No figure. I showed the clip to my friend Mia that weekend. She told me grief can play tricks on people, that I'd gotten used to seeing him there. You expect to see him, so your brain fills in the gaps, she said gently. If it was my brain, it had remarkable timing. A few days later, I went to the building across the street. The superintendent looked annoyed, but when I mentioned the apartment number, his expression changed. That unit's vacant, he said. Has been since the old man passed. He still let me in. The apartment was stripped bare, dust on the floor, no furniture, no curtains. The windows were uncovered, glass smeared with city grime. From inside, I could see my own apartment perfectly. A clear, exposed square of life across the gap. No one could have hidden there. I went home feeling foolish and a little relieved. Maybe seeing the empty apartment would reset my mind. Maybe it would break whatever pattern I'd fallen into. My phone buzzed as I closed my own door. A new notification. Video saved. I hadn't taken any. The thumbnail froze my breath. It showed my living room, my couch, my lamp, my window, perfectly framed. Like someone had filmed it from across the way. From inside Mr. Keller's apartment. I pressed play. The video was shaky at first, then steadied as if whoever was holding the phone had braced their arm against the windowsill. My window came into clear focus. I watched myself step into frame, frowning down at my own phone. On the screen, something behind me in my apartment shifted, just at the edge of the frame. The person filming raised their hand. In my window, the figure behind me did the same,